Once upon a time, there was a bunny, Miss Malison Pot. She was one funny bunny. Not have I got a joke for you kind of funny, but funny in a not-your-average run-of-the-mill way. Unlike her other floppy-eared friends, Miss Pot did not like her carrots raw. She liked them stewed in broth. Truth is, she liked the cooking quite a bit, chopping them up, stirring them in her favorite kettle, smelling the broth as their flavor filled the air. She was a funny, foodie bunny. Seems right to be a cook with a name like Pot, she mused as she prepared her favorite recipe, bunny soup. Each day was the same, though. Same soup, same carrots, same broth of dandelion greens. One day, Miss Pot was not the funny bunny she once was. She was a bored bunny. I need a little spice in my life, but the only things the field offers is carrots, rainwater, and the yellow-headed weeds that grow between the vegetables. Little did Miss Pot know that on the very day her boredom arrived, she would have yet another visitor. There was a scraping outside the door to the hollow tree where she boiled her carrots each and every day. She hopped over to open the door. Miss Pot loved company. She always made enough soup to share. In her doorway was a tiger, rather a tiger's head, for the beast was so large, and the doorway to Miss Pot's kitchen was so small. Miss Pot took in the exotic animal's size. "I guess we'll be eating al fresco," Miss Pot said, sounding like the French chef she so wanted to be. "That means outside, Mr. Tiger." A whiff of broth passed the striped snout of her guest. The tiger's stomach grumbled loudly, almost a roar. Okay, in case you're not aware, tigers are not cuddly little things like bunny rabbits. They're all tooth and claw, so don't let that rich fur fool you. That said, we can go back to the very out-of-the-ordinary day of Miss Pot. She welcomed the tiger in, well, out, technically, for a bite of lunch. Miss Pot offered her carrot stew, her bunny soup. "I just love bunny soup," the tiger purred. "Then bunny soup you shall have," said Miss Pot. She wasn't just being gracious. She had a plan, more of a wish, really. If she shared her meal with the tiger, perhaps he would share something with her, perhaps something new to cook, anything but carrots. She poured him a big bowl and brought it to the doorway. "I prepared it myself. I fancy myself a bit of a chef," she boasted. The tiger looked suspiciously down at the bowl. "I see that there are carrots aplenty. The dandelions are wilted just right. The broth is downright intoxicating, which means it smells delicious. But..." The tiger started scratching at the bed of the forest with his paw. "You see, my generous hostess, you have forgotten the main ingredient, my favorite pot." "I would love to add rare spices and vegetables from far and away, but all I have is this garden to harvest from. I agree with you, though, Mr. Tiger. This soup needs a little something. The tiger smiled, his teeth long, white, and ready. "Good. Good to know we're in agreement. What is a hearty bunny soup without tender stewed nuggets, meaty morsels that melt on your tongue? What is bunny soup, pray tell, without the bunny?" The tiger licked his lips and closed his eyes, thankful for the meal before him and the chef who prepared it. "I will treasure your expertise in the culinary arts with every mouthful." He opened his eyes, growling, "Bon appetit," which is French for good eating. The tiger was correct. There was no bunny in the bunny soup. There was also no bunny in the bunny kitchen. All he could see was the bunnyless soup cooking on the hearth. All he heard over the soup's bubbling was his hostess hopping through the garden. You see, Miss Pot was not just a funny, foodie bunny. She was a fast, funny, foodie bunny. Now it was the tiger's turn to stew. The tiger searched high and low. Miss Pot was nowhere to be found. Just carrots and more carrots, dandelions and more dandelions. The tiger skulked away from the garden. the promise of soup unfulfilled, making his demeanor most unpleasant. From that day forth, Miss Malison Pott had a renewed appreciation for a mundane carrot stew, her bunny's soup, her plain old, same old bunny's soup. Hold the bunny. The end. But not for the bunny.
And good morning. I would like to welcome Stacy Toon to our expansive Marshfield studios. Stacy just did the story Bunny Soup, and I thought you did an excellent job with that.
Oh, it was great. I've been listening to the show constantly. It definitely shares my passion for wordplay and great storytelling.
Well, I would like to reveal for the first time on the radio, maybe, that the author of Bunny Soup is no less than the storyteller, Stacy Toon.
Well, thank you very much. I've been doing what we call story circles, which is creative writing programs for kids from preschool through junior high for about 5 years now. And this story actually was done with Road to Responsibility, using residents from their Plymouth facility, which is kind of a nice and interesting challenge. So they feed the information, and I just kind of steal the ideas and comb it into a nice story that they can hear and then understand, oh, that's my part. My part's the cooking. My part's the rabbits. So it's rewarding, and it also gives people a sense of ownership and self-expression. Stealing
from children. I like that little aside. Road to Responsibility is in Marshfield. It's located down by the Veterans Library. The Ventress Library, and there's a bookstore down there, which you manage and run?
Yeah, I manage the Ocean Village bookstore for Road to Responsibility. It's all donation-based, except for the commissioned books by local authors. And also we've built what we call the RTR Enrichment Center, which actually we did these sessions in it, which is the center part of that. So one day it could be a book club, the next day someone could be doing crafts. They have bereavement classes there. It's all about so people doing community involvement and giving back a little bit to the community too. I think a lot of nonprofits, people keep feeling that, they get assistance to help people, but now we can give back to the community and promote literacy and self-expression.
Well, that's nice. Now, most people, if you ask them if there were a bookstore in Marshfield, they would say no, and they would be wrong, because the Ocean Village bookstore is right there, rather centrally located next to the Ventress Library, and it's a regular bookstore.
Yeah, it's. I must say, I've worked as a professional bookseller for many, many years, and I've consulted for small independent bookstores. I mean, we're very blessed in this whole area between the independent bookstores and the small little shops we have all throughout here. But this is all donation-based. I tell people it's hard to spend a lot of money there, and I try to sell books like Mick Jagger. Tell me what you want, and I'll give you what you need.
Well, I noticed you had Black Mass rather prominently displayed. Is that Dennis Lehane?
No. That was one of the first nonfiction books about the Irish Mafia in Boston and such.
Do you recall the author?
Not offhand.
I remember reading the book, but I don't. I thought it was Lehane because he wrote others on the same subject. At any rate, you get. It was a brand new book because I thumbed through it. How much are the books at the Ocean Village bookstore?
The rule of thumb is $4 for a hardcover, $3 for a trade paperback, $2 for a mass market, and if they're called what I like to call well-loved, I have the permission to discount them further.
Oh, wow. So that beats $29.95.
Absolutely. A perfect example, Marquez died a day ago, and I put out 100 Years of Solitude and some of his other books, and of course they sold within a day.
Oh, great. Now, so you've got books for adults, young adults, and kids?
Oh, all age groups, and they're all broken down by I Can Reads, early chapter books, independent reader, young adult. Pretty much any category you can dig up, I squirrel away somewhere.
And roughly speaking, how many books do you have on hand at any one time, roughly?
At one point, we had around 14,000, right? But we made room for the Enrichment Center. We're down to about 7,000, but I did Sophie's Choice on every single book. So every book that's on that shelf is a quality book.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Well, there it is. If you didn't know about the Ocean Village bookstore, now you do, and it's nice to give a cheap present. Which will be appreciated. The one thing about books is that I love giving books as a present because they reflect both the giver and the receiver in the choice and in the reading.
One of the most blessed things I think for me is we have, as I said, it's donation based, is that people are able to pass books forward, books that they cared about. Either someone's downsizing or someone had passed in their life, and you see a glimpse of these people and all their qualities and the things that they loved, and now they're able to enrich someone else with those. And I'm actually quite humbled with some of the collections that we get.
Well, that's lovely. I want to thank you, Stacy, for coming on board, and I really liked that story. I thought it was a nice little twist and kept me wondering what was going to happen.
Thanks so much, and keep telling stories. It feeds the heads, and you never know then what will bloom.
Thanks again.